It's 6:15 p.m. on a Thursday, and Mark is sitting in a brand new Audi Q8 in the parking lot of a high-end grocery store. He's staring at a notification on his phone. It's a low balance alert from his checking account. He just got paid 48 hours ago. Mark makes $185,000 a year. He wears a $400 watch, lives in a house with a professional-grade kitchen he never uses, and his kids go to a private soccer academy that costs more than his first car. To everyone watching him walk into that store, Mark has made it. He is the definition of the American dream in 2026. But inside the Audi, Mark is doing emergency math. He's calculating if he can wait until next Tuesday to pay the electric bill so he can cover the $600 incidental fee for his daughter's field trip. Mark isn't rich. He's spoken for. Every single dollar that enters his bank account already has a destination before he even touches it. He is living the fake rich illusion, a structural trap that has become the new baseline for the American middle class. My name is Zenvest, and today we're going to pull back the curtain on how people afford lives that don't actually belong to them. We're going to look at why a $200,000 salary can feel like poverty, why the most dangerous thing you can own is a median net worth, and how the truly wealthy are the ones you'd never notice in a Kroger parking lot. Asterisk, let's start with the big lie that keeps people like Mark chasing their tails. If you look at the Federal Reserve data for 2026, the average American household in their mid-40s has a net worth of nearly $1 million, $975,800 to be exact. When you hear that number, it feels like a punch in the stomach. You look at your own savings, your 401k, and your mortgage, and you realize you aren't anywhere near $1 million. You assume everyone else has a secret. You don't. But here is the truth, that average is a lie. It's what I call mathematical laundering. In any room, if you put Jeff Bezos and 9 people with $0, the average net worth of that room is billions. It's technically true, but practically useless. The number that actually matters is the median. The median net worth for that same 45-year-old is just $247,200. That is a gap of over $700,000. The fake rich illusion is built on people trying to live like the average, while their reality is the median. And it gets worse. Of that $247,000 median net worth, roughly 60 to 70% of it is locked inside the walls of a house. It's drywall and shingles. You cannot eat home equity. You cannot pay for a transmission with home equity unless you want to borrow your own money back from a bank at a 9% interest rate. When you strip away the house, the national median net worth collapses by about 70%. Most of the rich people you see are 9:47 a.m. Tuesday Zoom call away from total collapse. The $100,000 low-income trap. Second pillar of the illusion is the $100,000 salary. For decades, 6 figures was the finish line. It symbolized yachts and early retirement. But in 2026, $100,000 has the purchasing power of what $36,000 had in 1980. Today, crossing $100,000 doesn't make you rich. It just changes your tax profile in a way that feels like a targeted attack. The moment you hit that line, the federal government decides you're wealthy. Suddenly, the student loan interest deduction evaporates. The American Opportunity Tax Credit for your kids, gone. The traditional IRA deduction, poof. You are now paying full tuition on life. In cities like San Francisco, a single person earning over $100,000 specific, up to $108,300 is officially classified by HUD as low income. You can literally earn 6 figures and qualify for subsidized housing. This creates what I call the U-curve of stress. Data from Goldman Sachs shows that people making $50,000 a year are stressed, which makes sense. But people making between $300,000 and $500,000 report higher levels of paycheck to paycheck living. 40 to 41% than those in the sweet spot of $100,000 to $200,000. Because at $400,000, the dentist has a boat, and the boat has feelings. Lifestyle creep isn't a Lamborghini. It's a marginally nicer house in a marginally nicer neighborhood with slightly more expensive friends. Until you're $30,000 a month. Income is fully committed before it even hits your account. The sandwich generation and the debt trophy, the fake rich, aren't just victims of their own spending. They are victims of their own hearts. We are living in the era of the sandwich generation. More than half of Americans in their 40s are supporting an aging parent while also raising a child or helping an adult child who moved back home. Take Dave, a typical 45-year-old. He has $62,000 in his 401k, which is about 10 times less than the gold standard of 6 times his salary. Why is he so far behind? Because he's splitting $6,200 a month for his mother's assisted living. Medicare doesn't cover that. And his 24-year-old son just moved back into his old room because his lease ended and he couldn't afford the $2,000 rent on an entry-level salary to keep up appearances. Dave and his peers, Gen X, carry the highest debt load in America, averaging $158,515. They have the highest credit card balances and the highest auto loans. They are paying 21% interest on credit cards, while their 401 kiloseconds limp along at 7%. This is financial violence. They are writing checks to 3 different generations out of 1 paycheck, and the only way to make the math work is to borrow from their own future. The 9:47 a.m. Tuesday. Reality, the fake rich illusion, is most visible when the music stops. In 2026, the job market has entered a low-hire, low-fire equilibrium. If you have a job, you're fine. But if you lose it, the door to the next one has a heavy AI-powered lock on it. When someone like Kian, a software engineer making $140,000, gets that quick sync invite at 9:47 a.m. on a Tuesday, his life doesn't just change. It hits a wall. He has $9,000 in savings, which sounds like a cushion until you realize his fake rich life costs $7,800 a month to maintain. He has a 2-month runway. In 2026, the safety net has quietly expired. The enhanced AKU subsidies are gone, meaning his health insurance premiums just doubled to $2,200 a month. Unemployment benefits in a state like Texas might cover 20% of his old paycheck. This is when the fake rich do the one thing that permanently breaks their financial future. They raid the 401k. Taking a $25,000 hardship withdrawal feels like a lifeline, but after taxes and penalties, you're left with $15,000. The real cost, that $25,000, would have been $136,000 in retirement. Job loss in 2026 doesn't just put a gap in your resume, it puts a hole in your future that never heals. The 7 levels of real wealth. If the Audi Q8 and the $400,000 salary are often illusions, what does real wealth look like? It follows 7 distinct levels of compound interest, and the fake rich usually quit at level 2. Level 1, $0 year 1. You save $500 a month. At the end of the year, you have $6,283. You've made $283 in interest. This is where most people decide it's a scam and buy a truck instead. Level 2, the discouragement phase. Years 2 to 5. You've saved $30,000, but the market has only added $9,000. You're making $10 a day in interest. This is the psychologically brutal stretch where people like Jake cash out. Level 3, the first crossover years, 7 to 10. You hit $100,000. As Charlie Munger said, the first $100,000 is a bitch, but you have to do it. Suddenly, your money is making $28 a day, a part-time job. You don't have to show up for level for the snowball years 10 to 15. You hit $270,000. Your growth is now outturning your contributions. Your money is a better employee than you are. Level 5, the acceleration years, 15 to 20. You have $380,000. You stop checking the balance because you feel secure. Which is a better feeling than being rich? Level 6, the inflection point years, 22-25. You hit $660,000. You are earning a median American salary just by existing. Level 7, the exponential phase years, 25-40. You cross $1 million, then $3 million. Your money is earning $866 a day, the equivalent of a plumber's weekend shift every single day. The fake rich are stuck trying to look like they are at level 7 while they are actually struggling at level 1. The real rich are the ones at level 6 who still drive a 2014 Camry and wear a Target fleece because they no longer need the validation of a balance sheet they've already conquered. Asterisk, the secret weapon. Couch guilt. The only way to escape the illusion is to install a piece of psychological software I call couch guilt. When you're at level 10 or level 2 1000, you're in damage control. Financial scarcity costs you 13 IQ points. But once you hit level 4, $35,000, something happens. You buy a new couch, one that didn't come from Facebook Marketplace, and you feel guilty. That guilt is your best friend. It's the voice that says, just because I can afford the payment doesn't mean I can afford the life. Most people silence that voice the moment they cross $100,000. They trade the couch guilt for Instagram envy. But the people who actually reach $3 million, the Ronald Reeds of the world, who work as janitors and die with $8 million in dividend stocks, never silenced that voice. Ronald Reed held his coat together with a safety pin, not because he had to, but because he had enough. The enough number, we are told, we need $2.3 million to feel wealthy in 2026. Only 36% of actual millionaires consider themselves wealthy. This is because wealth is relative, and the peer group updates every time your paycheck does at $0. You ask, can I make rent? At $1 million, you ask, will a market crash wipe me out? At $3 million, you ask, is $3 million even enough for San Francisco? It's the same nervous system wearing different clothes. The fake rich illusion is a race with no finish line. The only way to win is to realize that the goal was never the salary. The goal was the margin, the gap between what you earn and what you spend. The day you feel rich won't be the day you cross 6 figures or 7. It will be the first Tuesday you realize your expenses didn't grow as fast as your income did. It's the Tuesday you realize that if a quick sync invite pops up at 9:47 a.m., you have a door you can close behind you that isn't made of panic. Your action plan. If you're watching this and realizing you've been living a version of Mark's life, here is what you do tomorrow morning. Calculate your median, not your average. Open your apps. Add up what you actually own, cash, brokerage, 401k. Subtract everything you owe. If that number is $247,200, you are exactly in the middle. If it's mostly home equity, admit to yourself that you are house rich and cash fragile. Aggressively protect the gap. When you get your next raise, bank the difference before your lifestyle notices it. If you make $100,000, try to live like you still make $75,000. That $25,000 gap is your freedom fund. Audit your fake rich line items. Are you paying for a performance of financial security? Are you carrying a $700 car payment while your 401k has less than $50,000? That is financial self-harm. Install the couch guilt. Stop trying to outrun your neighbors. They are likely more stressed than you are. Remember, 40% of people making over $500,000 a year are living paycheck to paycheck. Don't join their club. The fake rich illusion is a math problem, but the solution is psychological. You don't need a yacht. You need a Tuesday afternoon where nobody needs you and your bills are already paid by a version of yourself that decided to stay in your seat 20 years ago. If this changed how you're thinking about your paycheck or your neighbors, drop a comment below. Tell me which level you're on, and if you've still got that couch guilt voice in your head. I'm Zed. Stop pretending the finish line is going to wait for you. Start building your door today. I'll See you in the next one.